Okay, so this section is going to deal with cell organelles. So I think one of the best things you guys could probably do is create flashcards because you're going to need to know the function of each of the organelles that we discuss. And you can either get their functions from this PowerPoint, and you'll be able to get them from some of the videos I have on Moodle, or you can get them from your textbook. So the key concept, as you can see here, is that eukaryotic cells share many similarities. So cells have an internal structure, and the structure is called the cytoskeleton. And the cytoskeleton is composed of microtubules. And all you need to know about microtubules is that they are responsible for various kinds of movement within the cell. The cytoskeleton supports the cell and provides shape. It's going to assist in cell division. It's going to aid in cell movement. And it's also going to help out with the movement of materials in and out of cells. So it's going to help position and transport certain organelles that we will discuss later. So there are several organelles that are involved directly or indirectly in making and processing proteins. So first off, we have the nucleus. The nucleus there's one or more per cell. It's a spherical shape, denser than surrounding cytoplasm. And inside the nucleus we have things called chromosomes, which are usually in the form of chromatin. This is where the genetic information is contained. So that would be your DNA. There's a nuclear membrane which surrounds the nucleus. It's composed of 2 layers with numerous openings for nuclear traffic. And then you also have a nucleolus, and that's where the RNA that contains the RNA for protein. Again, that nucleolus is also spherical shaped. So there are also many processes that occur in the endoplasmic reticulum, or also known as the ER. The ER is a tubular network fused to the nuclear membrane. It goes through the cytoplasm into the cell membrane. And this is where it's going to store, separate, and serve as the cell's transport system. There are 2 types of the ER. You have your smooth ER and you have your rough ER. As you can see over here, the rough ER has ribosomes, which we're going to talk about in a minute, embedded in the surface, and smooth ER right down here does not. So you can remember rough ER, R for ribosome. So to talk about ribosomes, each cell contains thousands and thousands of ribosomes. They're kind of like your miniature protein factories. For most cells, ribosomes compose 25% of the cell's mass. And there are 2 types of ribosomes. There are the stationary type, which are embedded in the rough ER, as we just mentioned. And they're the mobile type that inject proteins directly into the cytoplasm. So we have vesicles, which all you need to know about these are these little membrane-bound sacs that hold materials, kind of like a small bubble in the cell. Mitochondria, that's our energy maker. It's the second largest organelle with unique genetic structure. It's a double-layered outer membrane with inner folds called cristae. So these folds inside here are called the cristae. You can see it right down here too, and you can see the inner membrane. The mitochondria's energy-producing chemical reactions take place on these cristae, so these little folds. It's going to control the level of water and other materials in the cell. It's also going to recycle and decomposes proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So vacuoles are membrane-bound sacs for storage, digestion, and waste removal. Typically contain a water solution. And lysosomes are a digestive plant for proteins, lipids, and carbohydrates. They transport undigested materials to the cell membrane for removal. You'll learn about different types of removal. Lysosomes vary in shape depending on the process being carried out. And the cell breaks down if a lysosome explodes inside of it. So think of it, if the lysosome like explodes inside the cell is going to break down because there's going to be very toxic things that just got released. So the centrioles are paired cylindrical organelles near the nucleus. They're composed of 9 tubes, each with 3 tubules. So the centrioles are involved in cellular division, and they tend to lie at right angles to each other. So the last thing we're going to discuss are the 2 different things that plant cells have that animal cells do not. And a plant cell has a cell wall, extracellular structure surrounding the plasma membrane is going to make it very rigid. There's 2 types of cell walls. There's a primary cell wall, which is extremely elastic, and a secondary cell wall, which forms around the primary cell wall after growth is complete. So it's just building another layer. The last thing we have here are chloroplasts, which are a plastid usually found again in plants, and essentially these contain the green chlorophyll where photosynthesis takes place. So those are all of the organelles that you are responsible for. So make sure you know what they are and where they're found. So function and location.